So we're obviously here to talk about how to build your startup's brand from day one. But before we sort of get into the sort of tactics then, what does brand mean to you?
Yeah, I really agree with the term that, brand is what people say about you when you're leaving the room, which also makes it the most hard to measure. It's impossible to measure. I know a lot of tools and startups are trying to do that, right? To try and quantify your brand recognition against a competitor and everything. I think that's impossible because what people really think, they wouldn't be writing online in the different comments and Twitter and everything. You would usually hear it from a third side, third party person, or by accident if you're in the wrong conversation. And definitely what people think about you when they know you're not listening. And definitely one of the most important things that startups should focus on from day one.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, when they think of brand, they think of a logo, they think of a design of a website, that kind of traditional stuff. Whereas, you're hearing more and more these days about things like dark social, which is exactly kind of what you're talking about, which is, what do people feel about you and what do people say about you when you're kind of not there? And to put it in context, I mean, why do you think it's so important that startups, have a good brand then early on at the moment?
Well, it's so hard to do it right. I guess it's easy to do it wrong, but if you want to get it right, then it's super super complex. It's like a puzzle with a million pieces. It's not just, like you said, it's not a logo, it's not a blog post, it's not the way you launch your product, it's not the way you answer your customers. It's pretty much everything all at once. And so it takes a lot of time to build out. It takes a lot of time to experiment. And you should do it from day one because it's going to take a while. And so usually when I've seen startup, remember, we've been around for like 3 years and now we have to bring in a CMO or a VP marketing and start focusing on brand. Usually their competitors would have done it earlier and beat them to it.
Yeah. And do you think this also because then we live in quite a noisy world, don't we? I mean, starting a tech business has got a lot easier over the years. Not totally very easy, but it has got easier. And there are lots of competitors out there, even if you look at the sort of marketing tech landscape that sort of Scott Brinker talks about, it's a very, very crowded market. So do you think also having a good brand from day one helps with that traction early on?
Yeah, for sure. Especially I think there's like a movement now of B2B companies trying to talk and sound a little bit more like consumer companies, because they realize you really have to be memorable. You really have to be cool and fun and visually appealing and everything. In the past, B2B companies would be more like enterprise, boring type of companies. And definitely now when it's like most landscapes are very, very competitive right now, like you said, marketing tech, sales tech and everything, then I think the good brands definitely win.